Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the situation in Al Jazeera. We're talking about threats to journalists generally. I don't think we've gotten to the situation locally that or some people think, including the president of the Media Association, think we're headed. But I don't think we can entirely dismiss the idea of threats against journalists. It is a dangerous job. The potential is always there. We have had situations, as I explained to you, with shooting at Grass Street not so long ago by the police. Residents there and other onlookers openly threaten police and reporters, with bodily harm. I don't think we can be entirely dismissive of it. But as I pointed out earlier, I think the issue with what happened in the States and what some of the comments that were made locally raises questions, not just for media houses, for businesses generally, in terms of ensuring that you have granted, we don't want it to happen to get to that point, but we saw what happened recently with the Media Association calling for help from not social transformation, health and gender relations in terms of counseling.
Did the president go to that session? I mean, he had just cast off
I'm not sure
the day before when the lady made that suggestion outside one of those shooting scenes. She had said, listen, you all have to be careful.
Yeah.
You recall,
I remember that, yeah.
Ann Clinton was, livid, saying we don't need that type of help. We don't need you trying to tell us how to write, etc. But the thing was well subscribed.
Yeah, but I don't think in any of these cases that anybody was trying to tell the media how to do their jobs. In every case, I think what was perceived as an attack was an admonition, I think, and deserved admonition to.
Well, let me give you one example.
We need to be more careful of how we go about doing our job.
Let me give you one example the last few days, and I'm sure, I feel we'll hear from the DPP on this one. There was an HTS story on Friday where the reporter had covered the Lambert's trial, which the DPP has all her interest in. And the reporter is saying that following the case, his crew went up to Dr. Shams, the main accused, who was being escorted to the vehicle, and he quickly slipped a note to the press.
No, I don't think that was
which the guy read on the show, in which Dr. Shams is accusing the police, the DPP, and everybody of framing him. I'm sure we're going to hear about that one.
Yeah, I heard that report, and it was not an HTS report.
The guy
so
is
let's clear that. Let's clarify, it was not an HTS report.
It was what?
It was one of the other stations, but it wasn't HTS.
It wasn't HTS?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Well, I take that back, but I swear, I wouldn't mention the name that I associated with that report. But I did hear the report.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Radio 100 recorded it and played it over.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm wrong that entity carried the story.
Yeah. But I could be wrong too.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the end, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
It is not there's nowhere in the world that in pursuit of covering a story, an ongoing trial, that you take a note from the accused, and publicize. This is between, it's not even sub judice, it's contempt of court. Because the case is going on. The lawyer can say those things on behalf of the client, Dr. Shams cannot even say that in the court until his time comes to talk. But then we will take a note from him and read it out to the world of him accusing the police and the court of framing him. Framing is a serious charge. And I think our coverage, we have to be very careful. On this show, we have drawn attention to colleagues rightfully feeling pissed off about being hauled by magistrates and judges before the court to be told, be careful. But in Trinidad, it has happened. In the BVI, it has happened, and I suspect it's going to happen here because the DPP has issued 2 statements so far about to the press about coverage of the trial. And it's unlike Clinton's reaction, the president of the Media Association. She's not telling us how to do our work. She's warning us about how not to do the wrong things.
Yeah.
And we need to see it. We need to see it in that light. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, well, I think in terms of the education, perhaps that is the major focus that should be honed in on now for the Media Association: education, opportunities for training, rather than, you know, going out in public and, you know, taking everything as an attack. You know, let us see it as an opportunity for us to improve, to work together with the judiciary, with the police. You know, we're talking about crime scene management and crime scene etiquette. Let's work together with these entities to see how we can all work together, and we as journalists can do a better job in informing our audiences and our public.
I think we need to exchange too, because we have a very active police department, communications department. They issue press releases more often than ever. However, the consequence of introduction of technology to information technology, when you are at The Voice and when I was still a reporter covering courts, police didn't used to issue press releases, but we would hear something in a major event. The police would issue a photograph of somebody who did something or who is dead or something was done to. Today, the moment anything happens, all we want to get is just go to Facebook and you get a photograph. And so you had the case of one of the shootings in Bapatat, where the young boy who had just left school was being accused of, you know, there was uncertainty as to whether it was gang-related or not. Nobody could have said. The parents were saying it wasn't. But the photograph that was chosen from his Facebook page was one with an assault rifle in his chain. Now, yesterday I met somebody who we were discussing it, and the person was saying to me, listen, I know the guy, that wasn't a gun, it's a lighter. So I say, but in the photograph, you see a gun, you don't see a lighter. But I would say that the reason that particular picture was chosen, there was a reason why it was chosen.
To underscore a certain point.
Yeah, to make a certain point. You're all saying he not in the gang thing. Look, have a big assault rifle in his neck. Another one yesterday, there's a story about a St. Lucian found hanging somewhere in Hartford, Connecticut, in the USA. And it is alleged that he was being prosecuted for sexual offenses against a young relative. And it was being suggested that maybe that's why he either hung himself or was hung. His wife wasn't there. But there was a large picture of him from his Facebook, and it says below, from his Facebook profile. So, again, like I said, Facebook is a tool. You know, our camera, our telephone is a tool. We can use them effectively. And we can choose how we use them. But the freedoms that we have, we also need to be as equally responsible as we want to be free.
Licenses. Front page of The Voice, vehicle license update. Let's talk about it when we come back. We're due for another break. The breaks are fast. This is the Press Club. Give us a few minutes, we'll be back.